All right, today on the podcast today on Let's Go Brandon Green, we have PollyAnna from M4 Mastery, and she's a master of getting businesses, your business, into the media and how it can help you drive leads, traffic, all that good stuff. Pretty interesting. So tell us more about it, PollyAnna, and how are you? All good?
I am so good. Thank you for having me. I am so stoked to be here. And yeah, let's dive in. Where would you like me to start?
Yeah, so is that true what you do? You help businesses get media exposure or?
Absolutely. So what we focus on is earned organic media. So that means we never pay to play. And it means there's never any kind of shady dealings going on. So we make sure that we are on top of it and that our clients are getting in the media on average once a week or more. And so we do that a couple different ways. And one of the best ways, that's one of my favorites, is we will actually get them columns on media outlets. So that way they can be writing for the media where their ideal clients are hanging out and genuinely asking the questions that they provide solutions for and getting in front of them once a week or more often if they put it into their content strategy.
Yeah, right. So where do the businesses find you?
So I am on social media. That's a big place that a lot of people find me. Referrals are another big way that people find me. And we've been operating actually without a website for almost the entire business, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, right. So you must obviously get a lot of referrals and everything. So, if you're a business and you've got a brand new product that you've just launched and it will be really good for a lot of people to know, which is a lot of businesses all the time, what should they do there?
So I would recommend if you want to start getting media attention, you want to think about it very similar to a social media push, where you don't want to start when it's launched. You want to start at least 90 days ahead of time, if not before that, because it takes a while to actually get in the media for things to get traction. So on average, 3 to 6 months ahead of time is a good game plan for starting. And
Really?
Along with that, oh yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of places book out 6 months ahead or even sometimes more. So you want to make sure that you are engaging in that way and understanding the timeline. Some places you can get in faster, but it's not super often and it's not always where your audience is. So if you play it safe, 3 to 6 months ahead of time.
And what type of media are you talking here? Where can they get into?
So it depends. It depends on the particular media that's going to drive the most traffic. Contributorship and podcasts, hands down, are the ones that drive the most traffic. They're the most targeted. And depending on the publications do a really good job of SEO, and podcasts tend to do a good job with it. It just depends on what the team looks like and what the podcaster's expertise is. There can be a lot of good SEO generated there as well. So those are great platforms for anytime you want to reach your direct audience. Features, interviews, TV, radio, that kind of stuff, it's okay, but it's not really where businesses want to be, especially service-based businesses. Product-based businesses are a little bit different because they're tangible and they're visual, so getting on TV for them is a little different. Yeah. But service-based business owners, they really want to go where the SEO is, where their target ideal clients are, and where they can actually get links over to their platform and generate leads from that traffic.
All right, cool. So what businesses have you worked with and they've been pretty good recently through your how you've helped them?
Absolutely. So we've kind of run the gamut. And funnily, most of the time I work with service-based business owners, and we really like contributorships for them because it builds that goodwill. It builds an audience on the other media outlets platform. And so we're driving consistent traffic in that way, which is great. We also have worked with some product-based businesses, and one of my favorites was this nonprofit that we worked with, and they worked with these STEM kits. They were robotics kits for kids 3 and up that were based on Legos. And when we started working with them, they had zero media coverage. They didn't have any like professional headshots. And even the website was not working when I pitched them. And so there were all of these problems. And the first 2 placements that they got were Insider and Parents Magazine. So they were national coverage on some of the biggest media outlets that there are for them. And they were dedicated to them. So it was great.
So with these magazines like that you've just mentioned, what's the go with them paying, like charging, you know, $10,000 for a story, but on the flip side, they'll also they'll run your story for free?
So yeah, the only legal way to do it is to run it for free. If someone's charging you money, it's illegal. It breaks FTC guidelines, and you should report it.
You've never heard of them charging?
The outlets don't. If the contributors are, it's illegal in the United States, and it is something that they're not allowed to do. I thought they put it under a different
section, like not editorial, but like promotional or...
No, they can do an advertorial, which is an ad, and it has to be marked an ad. So that's a different thing, but it's not in that realm of like $10,000 or anything like that. And a lot of these online outlets don't. So if you're working directly with them and they're like, hey, we want you to do sponsored content, it has to be marked that way. But if there is an individual contributor who says,
some of the sponsored content's not too much different to how the stuff is that you give them, you know what I mean? How they write it up sometimes, like, because they need content for a story.
No, they're actually different. So sponsored content is not something that they write. It's something that you write and send in.
Okay. And I've had other ones that will say, like I said, it might be an Australian thing, but we'll help you do that, and we'll come and take pictures for you. And it's only $10,000. Like $10,000, you charge me $10,000 and I'll get in your... What are you talking about here? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, it's not legal in the States. They don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, well, I'm not... So because it wasn't what you're describing, and I agree with you, where it's when you're talking about an ad. No, this was them helping, like they'll bring a journalist out. That is how they were selling it to me. So we'll bring a journalist out there to interview you, professional photographer. We'll get, 3 pages in there. I'm like... I
wouldn't trust that. No.
Man, this is like... normal people love stories like to come into your stuff. Oh, no. Well, we... How do we make money? I'm like, I don't know. For like ads, like selling your book or however normal... I thought that's how it worked. No. We've got to charge you for it.
No, that sounds like a new publication that is not created through actual journalists and media people. It sounds like business owners getting together thinking they're going to create a magazine with a specific focus and not knowing the actual legalities around it, which is happening a lot. So good on you for not going into it.
Have you heard of what I'm discussing happening?
There's a lot of turmoil in it right now in the media because of a lot of these unethical and, depending on where you are, illegal practices. Now, I don't know Australian law, so I can't speak to that. But in the States, that's not how that's run.
Okay, because I just wanted to make it clear and get myself clear, because it was not that doesn't sound like an ad. It sounded like me paying them to do their job.
Yeah, that's not how that works. If they want you, they should be paying you or offering you to just do it for free.
Yeah. But then they're saying, no, you want us. And I was like, no, I don't. You pitch, what are you on about? I'm like,
no.
We got our wires crossed here, Brandon. Sorry about that. I'm like, yeah, good.
It's kind of like if People Magazine were to come and do a feature and they wanted to take pictures and all of that, they're paying me for that exclusive, not the other way around.
Yeah, that's what honestly I thought. That's what I was. And what they do, they ring you like a week before. They're having a pre-meeting with you for like half an hour. Like, all right, and then we'll cover this, and then we'll cover this. Yeah, I'm thinking a 3-page thing here, Brandon. Yep. So we'll do all this.
God.
All right. And then all right, this all sounds good. And they like G you up. And then they say, we'll next contact with you in a week's time. So then a week's time comes past and they're like, how did you go? And then you're like, oh, yeah, good. Yeah. So it's only going to be $10,000. And then they like tear it up. They tear it up. They got like a sales pitch down pat for it. So rightio. So yeah, let us know if you've ever come across anything like that, because I certainly have, and it might be a new thing for you to see. But yeah, that's what's happened.
Yeah, there's a lot of shady stuff that can go on. So what I always tell every single client, you don't pay. You're either being paid or you're getting the coverage for free. If it's not one of those two things, don't even waste your time.
Yeah. And are the payment ads that you were talking about, are they ever worth it?
I don't think so, personally, because what tends to happen is people will pay for them and then they'll say, oh, as seen on, and they'll put a logo up. And again, it really deceives the reader and it deceives your audience, because we don't say as seen on Facebook when we put a Facebook ad up, right? Yeah. So if we put another ad up on a publication, we're not seen in, we're not featured in, we paid to have an ad in.
Yeah.
Right. And so we want to make sure that we're being ethical in how we present it. So advertorials are more often something that are going to hurt a business than necessarily help them, unless they're just very transparent and, let them know like, hey, this is an ad and that's what it is. So you just have to be very careful about how it's framed and how it's shared.
Yeah. All right. And how did you get onto this these magazine publications for this client?
Absolutely.
Do you guys have like a network or?
Nope. We do it very differently. So most agencies that you go to will pitch as your publicist. And because I've been a journalist for over 10 years at this point, I have learned the hard way that media people and PR people don't really get along all that well. And so anytime someone gets a pitch from a publicist, they cringe a little. And so I actually pitch as my clients when I'm pitching for my clients. So that way they're getting a relationship with the journalist and building that way. So all of my pitches are cold pitches. We just make sure the hooks are really good. And we really look at what have they covered so we don't pitch anything similar. And we also look at what are their readers interested in? What would make a difference in their lives? Because they're very protective of their audience, right? So the editors are looking at it as, if I want more traffic and I want more readers, we have to provide excellent content. So I always focus value forward, really great hook, and exclusive to them for this particular thing. And it goes over really well.
Yeah. Okay. Because, if they don't get it right, then, their viewers will be like, what's this crap you're running? And Yeah. Okay. And you've been a ghostwriter for some time?
Yes.
Yeah. So when did you first get into that?
I first got into that while doing publicity. So a lot of my clients either don't have time to write or they're not particularly great writers, but they have amazing geniuses to share. So when we get columns for our clients, a lot of times we'll actually write the columns for them. So it's their genius, it's all of their words, and they approve it before it goes out. So they're involved in the whole writing and editing process, and we just make it super easy for them. So that's how that started. And then we got into writing books because one of our clients from their articles had an agent approach them and say, hey, we want you to write a book. And they were like, okay, hey, Polly, can you write a book? Yes, of course I can. So that's how that started flowing.
Yeah. Because a lot of people come to you, they write their own book, and the market must be flooded with authors trying to get out there. Like, have you noticed that?
There are a lot of people who want to write a book. And what I notice more than anything is people want to run to self-publishing for the sake of keeping the profit. And it's not typically worth it. unless you have a very specific strategy in place. So a lot of what I see in the market is more of misinformation and things that kind of mislead authors. And the other thing that I see is people who put their book off, and they'll put it off for years and years and years because their attention is required to focus on the business or required to focus on other things or to be an active partner or active parent. And so the book is the one thing, because it's such a long-term project, that gets pushed to the side.
Yeah.
And so I see more people needing help from that angle than, you know, cutting through a mass of books or a sea of books. If you've got a solid book idea and you take it down the traditional route and it can stand up to that traditional route, you're solid.
You're right. Yeah, because so don't just delay to write your book for the perfect time. Get a professional to come in and help you with it so they can get the information, go and write it, and then the guy, the author, the real author can just tweak it.
Absolutely. And every author is different. So each of my people, I work with them differently. Some people want to be so hands-on and so in it with me, almost like co-authors. And other people are like, I'm just going to tell you what's going to go in it and you just write it. I trust you.
Yeah.
And either way is totally fine. It really is a customized experience for what it is that they need in order to feel good about this legacy going out into the world, which is awesome.
Yeah, right. So how many books have you guys written now?
So I am on, let's see, I think we've got 5. None of them are published yet. They are in the process of going out to agents right now. So we're excited to see them start to get book deals. So
a lot of people don't self-publish them too, because it does take so long for a publisher to pick them up, or even if they will at all. Like,
yeah, it's a whole process. And we have a backup process that we use. If for some reason an agent doesn't pick it up or a publisher doesn't pick it up, then there's another way to self-publish that can get the attraction of those agents and publishing houses and then have them republish it the traditional way.
Yeah. And you recently posted that you help teenagers get into, help them tell their story to, is it the media or something? How do you go about that?
This was such a cool project. I literally did this last night. There is this amazing challenge called the Ivy League Challenge, where they are helping teenagers from around the world get into Ivy League schools and really hard to get into colleges. And they do it through these things called impact projects. And I kid you not, I was blown away by these kids. They were doing things with sustainability, mental health. There was even one where they were working on pest control for crops and doing it in an environmentally safe and sustainable way. And so they are tackling these very large global issues as high school students. And one of the things that I was teaching them was how to write a really good hook so that they could get media attention for their project, which then legitimizes, you know, what they're doing. Because even some of these kids, I was shocked, they're working on legislature and changing the laws to protect their communities. Okay. And so, yeah, it helps them with all of that on top of getting into the school that they want.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, to learn from that age on the possibilities and how to go about things. So that's pretty cool. So
it was cool.
So with businesses, like, you might, I want to do it my way before I reach out to someone like you. They might use help a reporter out or something like that. That's just a big waste of time that we've found, you know what I mean? Because we don't know what we're doing. And also, like you said, you like to pitch as the client because the chops out the middle person, which is supposedly you, but if we don't know how to pitch as a client ourselves, then we're no better.
Absolutely. It is really tough. And so many people do want to do it themselves. And that's one of the things that, yes, I have done for you, but I also teach people how to do this on their own as well and how to install it in-house. Because one of the things that I believe in is you shouldn't have to rely on me to get the media attention that you deserve. So if you can learn to think like I do, and you can learn the skills that I have and I can give it all to you, I'm happy to do that. I think it's a really profound thing. And like you said, help a reporter out is okay. It's okay. A lot of times it's a time waster. You don't always get links associated. So even if you're quoted, yes, you can point to it, but it's going to have a lot of limited reach. It's not going to continue driving that traffic and driving those leads. And that's
there's a lot of like spammy websites they're now covertly advertising as something that they're not, and then it's like like, wow. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So you do help people, like in my position or other people, train up so they can use platforms like that correctly.
Absolutely. And not just those platforms, but also any other media source that you would want to go after. We teach you exactly how to do it, exactly how to put it into your content plan and map it into the business. So that way it's just a regular part of the business and it just runs in a very systematized processes kind of way. Okay.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, if I ever need to go to the media for anything, I'll be coming to you, because you seem quite confident in it, and you've gone at it from every angle, from pitching a book to stories, new products for businesses. So yeah, have you only worked with American customers?
No, we have had Canadian customers and we've had Australian customers. We have gone all over the world. And one of the fun things for me is when I got into it, within 90 days, I was published on 4 continents around the world.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, the skills really do translate to anywhere in the world.
Yeah. What was the Australian client based in? What were they covering?
They were covering like 6- and 7-figure deals. So they were looking at consulting and things like that. And I believe that back in 2012, I think it was 2012, I was also published in Australia, which is cool.
All right. So so you're not just as American. You can.
No.
Well, obviously, media's online and you're online. It's good to see that you are across all that. All right, great. All right then, Polly. So where can people find you, reach out to you, and get in contact?
Thank you. The first place I would go would be publicitychecklist.com. That's where you can grab the publicity checklist, which will tell you exactly what you need at every stage of publicity. And it's a really helpful guide for that. And then from there, that gets you on my email list, which is just a great way to keep in touch. Yeah. And anywhere else online, if you look up at PollyAnna Writes, WRITES, then you will find me. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right then, Polly, nice to talk to you. It was good, and we've learned a lot. And it's crazy, like just starting out and learning all that. Like I was mind blown, like, wow, this is how all this happens. But now I understand a little, and a lot of people be searching for this podcast because they're all interested in doing the same thing. But I will tell you from experience, it's not as easy as it makes it out to be, and you'll save yourself a lot of time if you do hire someone like Polly to get you on your ground run. And like she said, she's the horse that, she's the thing that leads the horse to water, and then you can get going on your own. But initially, you just grab her. That's what I think, because I've been on the other side of it. It's tough, but she knows everything. All right, then, Polly, you have a fantastic night over there.
Thank you so much for having me. I had an absolute blast.
No worries. Me too. See ya.